1970s gave us some of rock's greatest hits, but buried beneath the chart toppers were songs that deserved so much more. These tracks had everything: killer riffs, powerful vocals, brilliant songwriting, yet somehow slipped through the cracks. Today, we're uncovering 13 songs that flopped commercially, but have since been recognized as underrated classics. Number 13. Picture this. A British band known for their theatrical glam rock sound decides to strip everything down to its raw essence. No makeup, no costumes, just pure driving rock and roll. The golden age of rock and roll. Mott the Hoople, 1974. While everyone remembers Mott the Hoople for All the Young Dudes, their own composition, The Golden Age of Rock and Roll, might be their finest moment. Released in 1974, this anthem about rock's roots packed more energy than a power plant, yet it barely scraped the bottom of the UK charts at number 16 and failed to chart in America entirely. The song opens with Ian Hunter's distinctive voice over a piano riff that builds into one of the most infectious choruses of the decade. Radio stations didn't know what to do with it. Too raw for pop, too melodic for hard rock. Today, you'll hear a blueprint for what rock anthems should sound like. Number 12. Our next artist was already established as one of rock's most innovative groups. But when they created what many consider a masterpiece, it was too complex for radio and too long for casual listeners. Echoes, Pink Floyd, 1971.
Overhead, the albatross hangs motionless.
Pink Floyd's Echoes is a 23-minute epic taking up an entire side of metal. It's a journey through soundscapes ranging from gentle acoustic passages to explosive rock sections exploring themes of communication and human connection. The song begins with a simple piano melody and David Gilmour's ethereal guitar, building through various movements. Waters' bass provides foundation, while Mason's drums create textures. Wright's keyboards add atmospheric layers, transporting listeners to another world. At 23 minutes, it was impossible for radio play, but it influenced countless progressive and ambient artists. Number 11. Our next artist was part of a legendary British blues explosion, but when they decided to explore more experimental territory, the result was too adventurous for their established fan base. Wishing Well, Free, 1972.
The only time that you're satisfied is with your feet in the wishing well.
Free's Wishing Well represents the band at their creative peak, but it came at the wrong time. Released in 1972 during internal turmoil, the song peaked at number 7 in the UK, but was completely underrated in America, failing to chart despite being one of their finest compositions. Paul Kossoff's guitar work is pure emotion, bends and sustains that seem to cry out in pain. Paul Rodgers' vocals deliver lyrics about longing and loss with genuine feeling. The song suffered from bad timing as Free was breaking up, with little promotional support. American radio was moving away from blues-based rock, but the song has since influenced countless musicians. Number 10. Our next entry comes from a band already established as blues rock royalty, but when they tackled social issues head-on with their grittiest song, the song was too controversial for radio. 30 Days in the Hole, Humble Pie, 1972. Humble Pie's 30 Days in the Hole was their most aggressive song, dealing with drug busts and prison time with raw honesty that made radio programmers uncomfortable. Released on Smokin', it peaked at only number 56 in America. Steve Marriott's vocals scream about injustice over Peter Frampton's aggressive guitar work. The rhythm section pounds out a relentless groove like a freight train. References to drug arrests and prison time were too controversial for 1972 airwaves, but it's since become a classic rock staple, recognized for its raw power and social commentary. Number 9. Picture a band known for their elaborate stage shows and complex compositions suddenly creating their most direct, powerful statement. The result was too simple for progressive rock fans and too complex for mainstream radio. July Morning, Uriah Heep, 1971.
In my heart, in my mind.
Uriah Heep's July Morning was an epic 10-minute journey that never got its due. Released on Look at Yourself, it combined progressive tendencies with hard rock foundation to create something unique. The song opens with gentle acoustic passages before building into one of the most powerful choruses of the early 70s. David Byron's vocals soar over Ken Hensley's keyboards and Mick Box's guitar. At 10 minutes, it was too long for AM radio, and its progressive elements were too complex for casual listeners. The song has since become a cult classic, particularly in Eastern Europe. Number 8. Our next band was already a household name, but when they decided to explore their bluesier side with a more experimental approach, the public wasn't ready for this departure. Rock and Roll Damnation, AC/DC, 1978.
And it's a rock and roll damnation.
Rock and Roll Damnation from Power Rage represents AC/DC at their most experimental, which means they added hand claps and a different rhythm. Bon Scott delivered lyrics about rock stardom with trademark wit, while Angus Young's guitar work is more controlled burn than wildfire. Despite being released as a single, it peaked at only number 24 in Australia and failed elsewhere. This was 1978. Punk was exploding while disco dominated airwaves. A mid-tempo AC/DC track didn't fit either trend. Today, it's considered one of their most underrated songs, showcasing subtlety without losing their edge. Number 7. Our next entry comes from a band that was already established as blues rock royalty. But when they decided to tackle social issues head-on with their most political song, the result was too controversial for radio and too real for comfortable listening. Seagull, Bad Company, 1974.
Seagull, you fly across the horizon into the mist.
Bad Company's Seagull from their 1974 debut album is a haunting acoustic ballad that showcased a completely different side of the supergroup. While the album spawned hits like Can't Get Enough, this introspective track was buried as an album cut and never released as a single. Paul Rodgers delivers one of his most vulnerable vocal performances over delicate acoustic guitar work. The song builds slowly, adding layers of instrumentation that create an almost orchestral feel. It's Bad Company proving they could do more than just hard rock anthems. They could create genuine emotional depth. The song's lack of commercial push was a missed opportunity. Radio programmers expected Bad Company to deliver straightforward rockers, not delicate ballads. Seagull didn't fit their image as a no-nonsense rock band. Today, it's considered one of their finest songs, showing a band capable of both power and subtlety. Number 6. Think of a band that epitomized the California sound, harmony-rich vocals and laid-back vibes. But when they decided to rock harder than ever before, the result was too aggressive for their folk rock audience. Already Gone, Eagles, 1974. The Eagles' Already Gone was their attempt to prove they could rock as hard as anyone. Released from On the Border, it featured driving beats, aggressive guitars, and Glenn Frey's most powerful vocals. It was the Eagles with their gloves off. The production was deliberately raw compared to their usual polished sound. Despite its quality, Already Gone peaked at number 32, disappointing by Eagles standards for a band used to top 10 hits. Eagles fans weren't ready for this harder sound, while rock fans still saw them as a country rock band. It took years for people to appreciate it as one of their finest rockers. Number 5. Our next entry comes from a British band famous for their heavy, blues-based sound. But when they created their most experimental and atmospheric piece with a new lineup, longtime fans were confused. Soldier of Fortune, Deep Purple, 1974.
Soldier of Fortune.
Deep Purple's Soldier of Fortune never charted as a single, but became a beloved fan favorite. The ballad featured their new lineup with David Coverdale and Glenn Hughes, creating a more soulful sound that initially confused longtime fans. Coverdale's vocals are more melodic than Ian Gillan's approach, while Ritchie Blackmore delivers one of his most emotional guitar solos. The song's gentle, almost country-influenced approach was a radical departure for a band known for Smoke on the Water. Radio didn't know how to categorize it, but it's since become one of their most requested songs and a staple of classic rock radio. Number 4. Picture a band known for political activism and folk rock deciding to create their most straightforward rocker. The result was too political for rock fans and too rock for folk fans. The Genie, David Bowie, 1972.
Genie, loves chimney stacks. It's outrageous.
David Bowie's The Genie was his attempt at a simple Chuck Berry-style rocker during his Ziggy Stardust period. Built around a basic but effective riff, it should have been a massive hit, but peaked at only number 71 in the US. The song's simplicity was both strength and weakness. After Space Oddity's complexity and Ziggy's theatrical nature, fans expected something more elaborate. American radio didn't know what to make of Bowie in 1972. Too glam for rock stations, too rock for pop stations, too British for American tastes. It took fame and golden years to make audiences receptive to his earlier work. Number 3. Think of a band that helped define early heavy metal, known for dark, apocalyptic themes. When they created something simultaneously their heaviest and most melodic, it should have been a massive hit. Children of the Grave, Black Sabbath, 1971. Black Sabbath's Children of the Grave is a masterpiece hiding in plain sight. Released on Master of Reality, it combined everything that made Sabbath great. Tony Iommi's crushing riffs, Geezer Butler's thunderous bass, Bill Ward's powerful drumming, and Ozzy's most passionate vocals. The anti-war message was delivered with sledgehammer subtlety. Lines like "Children of tomorrow live in the tears that fall today" showed a band grappling with serious themes while delivering building-leveling music. Radio stations were still figuring out heavy metal in 1971. Too heavy for mainstream rock, too melodic for underground. It never charted as a single, overshadowed by other album tracks. Number 2. This entry comes from an artist who was already established as one of the most distinctive voices in rock, known for his theatrical approach. But when he decided to get funky, the result divided critics and confused fans. 1984, David Bowie, 1974.
Someday they won't let you, now you must agree. Times they are.
David Bowie's 1984 was his attempt to capture Orwell's dystopian vision in musical form, but it never achieved the success it deserved. Released as a single from Diamond Dogs, it peaked at only number 32 in the UK and failed to chart in America. The song features some of Bowie's most innovative guitar work and a driving rhythm that predicts disco and funk rock fusion. The lyrics deal with surveillance and control themes that were ahead of their time. The production is dense and layered, creating an atmosphere of paranoia and urgency. Radio programmers didn't know how to handle Bowie's funk experiment. Too experimental for rock stations, too rock for R&B stations. It fell between formats. The song's political themes also made some programmers uncomfortable. Today, it's recognized as an innovative fusion of rock, funk, and social commentary that influenced countless artists. Number 1. Here's the story of the greatest love song ever written about a woman who didn't love the songwriter back. Eric Clapton was obsessed with Pattie Boyd, who was married to his best friend, George Harrison. Layla, Derek and the Dominoes, 1972. Layla opens with one of the most recognizable guitar riffs in rock history. Clapton's vocals are raw with desperation, pleading with a woman who can't respond. The real genius is in the song's structure. It's actually 2 songs in one. The first half is pure emotional chaos, driven by Duane Allman's slide guitar dueling with Clapton's lead. The second half is a piano-driven coda that sounds like acceptance. Layla peaked at a pathetic number 51 when first released in 1972. Radio programmers didn't know what to do with a 7-minute song that changed moods halfway through. These 13 songs prove that commercial success doesn't always reflect artistic merit. Sometimes the best music is the stuff that takes time to find its audience. Which of these underrated classics do you think deserved to be a bigger hit back in the day?